Scoop, the show that I founded in 2011, it is and still remains a premium contemporary fashion trade show. It links fashion and art. It's heavily curated with around 250 designers. If you just take it to the next slide.
Next slide.
Yeah. And the concept of Scoop is it's like a department store. We make a real effort to make it feel very feminine and personal, warm and welcoming. It's as though you walked into a small department store, like if you visited Paris, Le Bon Marché in Paris or Ilum Copenhagen. It's full of interesting new collections. Most importantly, it's very personal. And that's the feeling that we have at Scoop. It's a very personal trade show, almost like a very big showroom.
Okay.
Slide, yes, please. So the exhibitors that we have at Scoop, fashion-led, I mean, we travel extensively to source new labels for Scoop. You know, I travel a lot in Europe and further afield, but we focus on contemporary designers. So it's not first line, it's second line, but premium second line. There are no price limits. If you imagine it's a clothing, if you go into a clothing department of a department store, it's clothing, it's shoes and accessories and designers that you find in those premium boutiques and contemporary areas of department stores. The show in the past has included collections from Paul Smith, Christian Lacroix, Freelance, EcoAlv, Vivienne Westwood, Devotion Greece, Arch from France, Missoni. So there are, you know, we do get and attract very interesting and collections.
Next slide.
Yeah. So the buyers that we get to Scoop are UK and Irish buyers, both small shops and department stores. The UK department stores include Harvey Nichols and Harrods and Selfridges. The Irish department stores include Brown Thomas. We do bring international buyers, especially from someone like Galeries Lafayette, Le Bon Marché in Paris, Le Printemps, La Rinascente from Italy. But it is primarily a UK and Irish show. And obviously we do have a focus of online as well, people like Net-a-Porter, Matches, but there are, you know, so many new online retailers launching, and we try and keep abreast of those. Next.
Okay, next
Slide. So Scoop Loves Pure is a one-off show, and it's coming together this September. And if you go to the next slide, we'll just tell you a bit about what it is. It's a one-off show. It's curated by myself. It's a broader offer of what we normally have at Scoop and we normally have at Pure. Now, Pure sits at Olympia normally. It's a well-established show for more than 25, 30 years. And it has a broader profile than Scoop. Scoop is more of a boutique show. Pure is a little bit more contemporary and a little bit more mainstream than Scoop. But for this one-off show, we are bringing it together, and I'm overseeing the designers that will go into both. We will be introducing more home and lifestyle collections as well.
And the question now for everybody here in the room and watching us online, do you have these home collections? And if yes, Karen just told me before the stream that it would be very good to show these collections this September in London.
Yes, thank you. So the next slide. So we do focus on women's wear, and I know that most of you listening are women's wear designers, ladies wear designers. Collections we're looking for fall into several different brackets. Women's wear, but it has to be contemporary, fresh, full of newness. So it's just well designed and it's design led. And again, directional. That's what we're looking for in terms of women's wear collections. Nothing to do with price. We can go from, £30 wholesale to £300 wholesale or £500 wholesale. It just has to have a design element. It has to have the designer's DNA. That's really what I'm looking for. And we do have quite a wide age group. So traditionally, Scoop is really 25 plus, whereas Pure has a wider age group, can be from 18 upwards. So we do have a younger element in Pure. Scoop is a little bit older, but so we're bringing it all together in the next. Bring in the next slide. Yes, I put this slide in. At Scoop, we don't traditionally have evening wear or much evening wear. The evening wear that we have is normally cocktail wear, the little black dress. But I feel for this one-off show, it would be nice to have some evening wear, as long as it's tasteful and beautiful, natural fibers like silk, beautiful lace, it's a summer show, so we don't want velvet, but elegant, that isn't, I would say, prom wear, but it's more to go out for dinner in, to go to a party in. It's not not really wedding outfits. It's a bit more subtle. That's the sort of evening wear that we'd be looking for. And actually, we're very short of, because we don't normally have evening wear at Scoop at all. So I would be looking for evening wear for this show.
Okay, what is the format of this show? Will you have some catwalks as well, or no? No.
It's just purely stands. The show is not built, so it's not a traditional show. It's just nice rails, and it's much less formal than a normal trade show. But we don't have a catwalk.
Okay, thank you.
The next slide, please. So I put the slide in, so it's men and women's wear. So what we're looking for and what we're very keen to develop more of is where you have a women's wear collection or a men's wear collection where you have both. So it's both men and women's wear together. So where the designer does both collections, and that normally is slightly more edgy, a bit more street, it's obviously day wear, and very contemporary. So it's a much fresher kind of collection that we're looking for here. And there's been a lot of interest in this. Shoes and accessories, and this is of course we want, and of course handbags. No price limit. I mean, the price limit, I would say, of a handbag, we would say, is up to retail about £2,000. So we can actually bring in expensive handbags. Fashion-led shoes and accessories. I would say with our shoes, we're not really looking for very dressy evening wear shoes, but if they are stylish, not terribly high, a bit more subtle, we are interested. We have had, Manilo showing this years ago. So we have had some very good, shoe designers showing with us.
Okay.
Jewelry, it's a weakness of mine, I'm afraid. So lovely designer jewelry that really has its own DNA. Again, no price limit. I mean, it's the price of an item of jewelry a woman will buy for herself. So we're not looking for engagement rings, but we're looking for £2,000 to often reach up to that price range. This is an example of Locket London, and that sort of necklace would be around £1,500 to £2,000 retail. So we can go up that sort of pricing, but obviously, you know, if something is fun, I'm happy to look at something that's £10 wholesale. It really depends on the styling and the design. So we are happy to look at all kinds of jewelry. The next one is beauty. Beauty and perfumery, really, we have developed at Scoop. It's small perfume brands, candles, beauty ranges, nice nail polishes, anything to do with that, which traditionally, we're looking for small companies that produce these items. We're not looking to be, a big department store offer, but something that's interesting, and something that people can put into their, more and more shops are becoming lifestyle. And, at the counter, if they've got an interesting bottle of perfume, people will buy it on impulse. And that's really what we're looking for. Okay. We mentioned home and lifestyle. This is a particular area I'm very interested in. More and more designers are launching their own homeware collections. People like Missoni, who are well established doing this, but Lalique, who are traditionally crystal people, glassware people, but they're launching candles. We've had them at the show with their candles, their glasses, their jewelry, their perfume. So more and more homeware people are, developing other items as well. Christian Lacroix are doing lovely notebooks. So this is an area that we'd like to look at. But interesting gifts, lovely throws, lovely cushions, lovely dining plates, things that people, again, might traditionally have had a clothing store, and they're going to change over more for lifestyle. And that's really where we would like to have, a more interesting offer. Stationery, pets. During lockdown, there's been more and more people buying dogs. So lovely, bowls for dogs. At the last show, we had lovely coats for dogs and lovely bowls. So I think what you have to understand about the show is we think slightly outside the box. And that's really what the show is all about. And in the last slide, it's just a quick overview of what the show normally looks like and what we will be putting together for this September. And I hope you enjoy it. Oh, where is it?
Tatiana, next slide, please.
There we go.
Okay, some video for us to understand the topic.
Is there any sound? Oh, there doesn't seem to be any sound. No sound?
Tatiana, can you please turn on the sound? Okay. Zoom will help us. It seems to be some problem with the sound, but anyway, we can put this video on our Facebook community page after our event.
Sure, okay. So it shows you, it's a very clean space. Okay. Over 250 collections, all brought together. And it's quite an eclectic mix, when it's all put together.
Tanya, I think, Tatiana, video will be enough. We will put it on our Facebook page after event. Okay, sounds great. Thank you, Karen. And we have several questions from community members. First of all, can you please tell what do you think about bestsellers items in clothing? You told already about men, women, both men, women clothes and collections. Yes, we understand it. What else? What should we focus if, for example, somebody is designer for women clothes? What items to focus on? What is the most popular or has a great demand on your market?
I think, well, I try to split up the women's wear with obviously evening wear, but we are strongest on day wear, and it's, you know, lovely dresses, you know, a full comprehensive collection, basically, lovely knitwear. We just want to focus on design. And it's a spring summer show, so we also will be looking for swimwear, you know, beach wear, things to go on holiday, to wear on holiday, you know, to wear on the beach bags. So there will be an area of cruise, but in terms of contemporary day wear, I think we sent you the film. Did we send you the online fashion film? And that was just a selection of some of the scoop designers. And I think it started off with, we are obviously interested in sustainable. So I think we started off with EcoAlf, which is a sustainable brand that does both men and women's wear. But then we go into people like Fabienne Chapeau, which is a designer from the Netherlands. And that's a very scoop look. It's very feminine, it's very pretty. You know, it's good pricing. And, you know, if you look at all the different designers, then we go into, you know, we end with Transit, for instance, who have been with us from the very beginning, who do very edgy day wear for both men and women. So I think that film should give you quite a strong cross-section of clothing that will, you know, of the typical scoop designer. But obviously this is Scoop Plus Pure, so there is, you know, more of a wider offer that I'm looking at. I think I wouldn't be worried about what my criteria is. I think you just need to, whoever is interested in showing with us, submit to us, and then we will have a look. And very often, because I'm a buyer, you know, I can see what I think is suitable for the UK market.
Okay.
What the UK market is looking for is, you know, obviously value for money, but something different. You know, by September, they will not have had the chance to actually go out buying physically. They've been buying online. They will be looking for something new, which is why we're very keen to work with you, because they will be looking for new designers. They'll be looking for freshness and something different. You know, a different designer, a different handwriting, you know, lovely prints, you know, it's spring, summer, you know, lovely fabrics are available. We do tend to have quite a lot of feminine collections, but that doesn't mean that we are not looking at more edgy collections. It's just something that is, you know, the designer's own handwriting. You know, where the Ukraine is very strong on manufacturing. I mean, I know the quality of production that comes out of Ukraine, so I know that there is very good production there, which is very important. I seem to have a message. Is it from Natalia?
Okay, message. Yes, we have, you're right, we have good production facilities in Ukraine, and I hope we will show it this season. One more question is, what do you think about Ukrainian designers, our potential on Great Britain market? what should we do?
You know, I actually was looking at my notes because when I went to the Ukraine in 2012, there was a fashion show in my hotel. And I took a note of two of the designers because it was evening wear, funnily enough, but it was beautiful. It was, you know, really beautiful handiwork and embroidery. So that sort of thing, you know, we do not get much of, you know, any kind of handiwork. So I need to be educated. I would love to see what comes through for us to have a look at. I'm sure that if you were showing in Paris, that, you know, we are a similar market to the Parisian market as well. So, you know, we'd love to have a look.
Okay. Now we will ask our designers from New Fashion Zone community and from all the market to send us a lookbook, and we will put it all together and send to you for you to give us feedback who could be chosen to this year show. And
Yes.
And we'll see. From now, we'll can explain. I can't tell you a lot of names that had some tries to be on this market. It's several designers only in market, but it is fashion market for us, very interesting, desirable for Ukrainian designers. But when we start to think about it or discuss it, it is like a very great challenge for Ukrainian designer, you know?
Yeah.
It's something unbelievable.
Well, it shouldn't be a challenge. And from memory, there's some very nice boutiques in Kiev. You know, so there is a market. You know, a strong domestic market as well.
Yes, of course, but because of all this economic crisis due to COVID-19, we have some problems now, but we want to join all together with Ukrainian designers with the help of New Fashion Zone team, management team, and have Ukrainian, let's say, corner or part on Scoop and Pure, where all Ukrainian designers will be presented all together. The same we did in Paris this season, and it works.
Yes.
Like message.
So, traditionally with Scoop, we don't. We try and curate them so that they fit within their brand adjacencies, but that's something that we can talk about because if it's, you know, a very edgy day wear, it shouldn't sit with the evening wear. Do you know what I mean? But that's something that we can talk about.
Okay, we need to see content first.
Okay. Yes, we need to see content first. Exactly.
Okay. One more question is what should we need in the future? What will we need to prepare? For example, line sheets, as I understand, we need to have in Great Britain currency in pounds, yes, or dollars or euro. What is the actual practice?
Sorry about this.
That's okay. Do not worry, we will wait.
I think we need to do a price. Sterling is always best if you can. Do they normally sell in US dollars or do you normally sell in euros?
Actually, some of our brands used to have euro prices for European market, but taking into account this current situation with the Brexit, I think that we need to have pounds. It will be something new for us, but still only a task, not a challenge, only task for us to understand.
I would say if you think they can sell, they can quote in sterling and pounds. Obviously, a delivered price is easier, but that's something that we can look at to help make our suggestions. Hopefully we can try and help you find maybe agents to represent the designers. Or the other thing that we've done in the past is have sales on the stand that have worked in showrooms. So they actually know the buyers. You know, it's something that we can talk about.
Okay. And now it's the right time to ask your questions. Please turn on your microphone or just write the question. I will read it. If you have any questions, please do it now. I just received the message from the brand from Natalia Kolpakova. Natalia, do you have any question or you just sent me a lookbook? If you have a question, please turn on your microphone and ask it. All right. Okay, Irina writes a question. Thanks a lot for a presentation. How to attract buyers to the stand? The question, maybe it's the most common question of the designer, how to attract buyers, how to work with buyers before the exhibition, before the show.
Yes, well, we do a lot of marketing, obviously, to reach out to buyers. The show is not a huge show, so buyers will cover the whole of the actual exhibition. We do a lot of interviews with designers, so we do quite a lot of brand awareness in terms of actually identifying who the buyers are and for you to contact them. It's very difficult because we're not allowed to give out that data, but I'm sure there is something that we can work together on. I can personally contact a few buyers, that I know that could be of interest to the relative designer.
Okay, it's very good news. Because when we preparing for some exhibition or show all around the world, we call buyers or send some messages, invitation, and all the things. Should we do this if you want to take part in Scoop and Pure show, or will you do it with your team?
We do it. We do it with our team. We know who the buyers are. We have. I have a sort of little VIP hit list who I personally contact. And if Selfridges walks into the building, I am alerted and I normally walk around with them. So that the big buyers I'm normally with anyway. It isn't a big show. I think that's really what you have to understand. And although we have around 250 designers, it's still like a big showroom. So, we know if somebody's coming in who is of importance, and then one of us, one of my team will come around with the buyer.
Okay. And one more question about buyers from community members is we all together we have a dream to be in world well-known department stores like Selfridges, but still small boutiques has a great interest for us. Yeah. And what is your usual practice to work with the small boutiques all around the country, because it is the only way for us to meet these buyers is to come to some exhibition or show?
So I've been in the fashion industry a very long time, and I think not only do I know the buyers, but they also know me, and they basically always come to Scoop and Pure because there isn't another trade show in London. We have London Fashion Week, but it's not quite the same. So I would say that this September, we're going to make the show very safe. We will be putting in lots of safety measures to make everyone feel very happy about exhibiting and about visiting. But we will be sending out a huge amount of information to buyers to make sure that they're coming. I've had buyers call me to say, why haven't you put on a show? So they're ready, they're waiting for a show.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry about that. What I would worry, the buyers will be there. We're only the platform. We'll bring them to the building, but whether they will buy is another thing. But hopefully, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And one more question is very important. Nobody knows, but how could we be sure that on September we will everything will be okay and show will be provided in September? What do you think from Great Britain point of view, from this side of the world? What do you feel now?
Well, I've just received a message on my telephone that my second vaccine is tomorrow. We are actually, touch wood, really doing very well on the vaccination. The company sits on a board, an association of trade shows and events, and we will make it extremely safe. So, everyone we will probably have to have much wider aisles, much more spacing to make, and more ventilation and whatever. So we will make it a very safe show. I think by July and August, Europe will feel much happier about traveling. And I think we're going to be okay.
Okay. Sounds optimistic. I hope it will be our reality. In Ukraine, we also just started the vaccination, but only for several categories of people over 80 years old and more, and politicians, doctors, etc. We still have no vaccination for people, just designers, for example.
I know. But hopefully it will roll out very quickly, because once the program starts, which is what happened in England, it went from being very slow to very, very quick. So I don't know what the schedule is, but I would think by July, August, most people will be vaccinated.
Okay, thank you. And okay, lots of technical questions, but still interesting for us is about preparation. Okay, I will ask it to Rob later on after event. Some questions I have now, very technical, for example, for visas and all these things. I'm sure that we will have some invitation, right invitation will open us. We can visit this show. And what else interesting now for us?
And ask sorry.
Okay, Irina, please take the floor. Please, can you tell about your brand? Several words for us to understand.
I own a small fashion brand, Цьогорічна. We specialize of women's and men's clothing. Yeah, and we participate last year in Pure London.
Cool.
Yeah, and for now I have several questions about how do you think, Karen, is it relevant to visit for Ukrainian designers this show if UK designers struggle a lot, and I think that they also will look for the opportunity to show their collections to the buyers?
Sorry, the question. What was the question?
The question was, is it relevant to show our collection in the UK when market inside is struggles, and as I know, for the last year, a lot of new designers launched their collections in UK. I read it in the some like BOF, Business of Fashion, and other sites about fashion, and they see that a lot of new faces are now launched in UK, and the question is how relevant to Ukrainian designers going.
So can we compete? Yes.
It's not like can we compete? I suppose we can compete. The question is that UK people are really very patriotic, and if they decide where to buy, they better will buy in the UK. And one thing, it's custom and taxes, and a lot of people do not want to do that because it's additional 20% VAT and also taxes from 0 to, I suppose, 15% of some clothes, and it's additional cost and additional paperwork also, and for UK businesses it's no guarantee that Ukraine market, it's not like a trusted market, let's say that way.
But correct me if I'm wrong, the Ukraine is not part of the EU. So,
no, it's not.
No. Your trading is the same as it was when you were showing last time at Pure, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I think that the British are not, well, I think the word patriotic when they come to buying clothing, I don't think it comes into it at all. I think if they like the designer, they'll buy it. What you have to do if you were to show is to de-risk any kind of or to take their fear away of bringing in clothes from the Ukraine. In other words, you've got the prices already prepared, and you have all the information. Because the small shops are small shops, they're small businesses, and they want to know that if it's £35 wholesale, and that's what they're paying. And even if you have, I would overcharge for transport and delivery and all that kind of stuff. Even if you think it's going to cost, £3 to bring it in, and the tax is going to be, £2. I would put on £6 on top of your wholesale price just to make sure you're covered, because you don't want to go back to the retailer and say I've made a mistake. So I wouldn't worry about that. It's all down to what the collection looks like. That's at the end of the day what it's all about. Women's wear, unlike menswear, because I've done both. I mean, I was the agent for many years for Missoni, and women's wear is a very different customer to menswear. Menswear, they're much more loyal, and women's, I hope this is being recorded, but women's wear, they're always looking for something new and something to, that's exciting. Whereas menswear, they like to buy what they bought before in many cases, and they are, much more loyal to you as a designer. And but it doesn't matter, but to balance each other. And women's wear, they're always looking for something a bit different, a bit fresh. So I think that's really where we've got to come in and give that to them, especially for this September, because when we have the show in September, we won't have had a show for 18 months. And so they have been buying from line sheets basically up till then, or on Zoom calls. So they will be very excited to actually have a collection in front of them. So I wouldn't worry about them buying British over, from another country.
And what do you think? As I remember, you have an option for additional cost to arrange some meeting with buyers. Do you have that option? Or
think they would traditionally have that at Pure, but Scoopers Lovesborough is a much smaller show. It isn't something that we have discussed, but it's something that, you know, if we were asked to do it, it's something we might consider. We don't really have the space to put that sort of meeting rooms in. But, you know, I am aware that if you're showing for the first time, you know, you want to know that you're going to be seeing the right buyers, and we will do everything that we can behind the scenes to help.
Okay, we also read a question about pre-agreement with buyers and the cost later on in our letter. Maybe this service could be done because it's a question of a lot of designers. At least several real meetings will be very good for us to understand the feedback from the first visiting.
What we do is, for instance, the London-based buyers, we send cars for them, so we know that we can get them in the building. What we can't do is make them buy, but we do actually send cars, so we do know when Liberty are in the building because we've sent the car for them. You know, we do, you know, bring on Eurostar traditionally Galeries Lafayette. So we do have certain VIP buyers that we know are there because we brought them in.
And Karen, what do you think? The last show, Pure, that was at February 2020, is it already affected by COVID, or it was you met, or how to say, that quantity of buyers that you expect visited that show, or it was already empty because of the situation?
I mean, I can answer this one, Karen, if you want, because I
was
there.
Yes,
I was there.
Okay.
So Arena, so there was two issues. Because I went to Pure on the last day, and I was at a show, a big home and gift show in Germany when Pure was running, and I just popped into Pure for the last day. But there was two things. So COVID certainly started to rear its head in England at the show our business runs called Spring Fair, which was in early February, a week before Pure. And we had probably 200 Chinese exhibitors there. And, you know, obviously at this point in time, COVID was very much a China problem, if that makes sense. And it obviously at Spring Fair affected the footfall into the Chinese hall because there was a lot of paranoia about COVID, etc. And that was also true at Pure, where we did have quite a few Chinese exhibitors. The main factor, and it wasn't necessarily COVID, the main factor is that week when Pure was on, there was these huge storms over Europe.
I remember that.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because I was stuck in Germany for an extra day.
Terrible.
And so it meant that a lot of our international visitors that would usually come to Pure couldn't make it. So we were down on kind of footfall by about 17% at Pure, that the last edition we ran. So those were the two factors. So yes, COVID was a problem, nowhere near to the scale it was and is now. But certainly it was mainly the storms over Europe that was the big problem for Pure. And we've never had that before. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Thank you. And the same problem we had in apparel exhibition in Paris in February because of Chinese exhibitors, buyers wouldn't come. They declined our meetings, pre-arrangements, and all the things.
Yeah, it was starting to become a worldwide problem then, wasn't it? So unfortunately, yeah, it's just the way that it happens sometimes.
And one more question, if I can. Yeah, we have time.
Please ask. I can't see any other questions that you can ask. Final one.
How do you think the place where the stand or brand is on the show, is it mean a lot, the placement?
No, because it's like walking into a showroom. You know, it's not it won't be a big show. We are not pure at Olympia. This is not pure at Olympia. It's not the same show. So it's like going into a showroom, and it won't really matter where you are, because the buyer will get round. It's very intimate. It's very different.
It's very different, and I think obviously pure, it's set out, it's there, it's an exhibition hall, you know, whereas obviously the Saatchi Gallery is a gallery. So it's a completely different concept, a very unique concept. And position doesn't matter because, like Karen said, it's small enough that buyers will walk the entire thing.
Okay.
I would say at Pure, positioning is important. I think Karen would agree, because you need to be kind of noticed amongst the row of stands that you go down. But with Scoop, it's a very spacious, very different. There's no walls on the stands, you know, you're not enclosed. So it's a very, very different experience. And it's highly exclusive as well. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. I visited it also. I understand what you mean. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Irina, for such a good questions. Any questions more? I just asked to our brands presented here. Okay, so if there are no questions at that moment, I just want to tell all our community designers and designers watching stream online that right now you can send us your lookbook. We will take it all together and send to Robert, and we will receive the feedback from Scoop and Pure London. Are you going to be there on the exhibition? Because there is a selection. This exhibition, and only 220 brands will be presented from all over the world. And I think that Karen told a very important thing with the stops and lockdowns in September. We will have a great chance to be presented after after this COVID and all these things. I think it has a great sense to be presented now in London. I hope everything will be okay. We will be healthy. It's the first thing we need to do. And if you have any questions, please ask. You asked me about prices. We'll send you prices later on. We can, I think it's not a point now to tell about prices, because anyway, we are discussing now the Ukrainian corner at this event. And it will depend on quantity of members as well. That's why now we are waiting for your lookbooks for next several days. We will push you to send it. So please be ready. And also Tatiana will publish on New Fashion Zone pages, materials, video materials about Scoop, and you will see campaign of designers of Scoop. I think it could be helpful, very helpful to you. And what else? When's the deadline for sending lookbooks? Okay, I hope you already have some previous lookbooks for this season, just finished, and for previous season, you can do it right now. I'm sure that you have now any lookbooks for the next season yet. That's why please send lookbook you already have. How much time do you need to do this? It seems to me 5 minutes, but okay, let it be 3-5 days for all our community to think about it and to send. Any more questions? Okay, Karen, do you have any questions for us?
Can I just say something? What would help me is actually their lookbooks for spring summer 2021. Because it's a summer show. I would obviously like to see what they're doing for summer, what they did for this summer. That would help me, as opposed to their latest lookbook, which will be for autumn, won't it? So if that one. Also, if when they are applying, it helps me if they just let me know if they have any European stockists, you know, if they sell to anyone in Europe, and the name of the shop, because that helps me.
Okay, as well, we will write it on our website and in social media. And please tell about your department stores you're already in Ukraine as well, or only in Europe? Karen, in Ukraine as well?
Ukraine as well, yeah.
Okay, in Ukraine as well. Okay, we'll send it. Okay, I just look through my questions. I think it is all for now. We understand the concept, we understand what we need to do next. And Karen, so thank you very much to come to New Fashion Zone community. We are happy that we did this first step. And next, we will be preparing all the materials and send it to you, to Robert, and then discuss the selection.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. Thank you very much. Best wishes to everybody. See you on New Fashion Zone. As I told you before, we just finished the Paris season. You can see on New Fashion Zone Facebook and Instagram as well the links to magazine Новое время with an article about this. Please read it. And thanks again, Robert and Karen, for this opportunity to discuss it, because physical discussion much better than see or read something. Now we understand clearly what to do and what to expect. And one more open call for London. New Fashion Zone team waits for lookbooks. Spring, summer. Please send it.
Thanks very much for inviting us. Thank you. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.